Hey again! I, the Big Bad Wolf, have another unusual record to share. What's really unusual about this is, it's an intentional knockoff of my Oscar-winning cartoon, The Three Little Pigs. Take a look. The Golden Records book and audio read-along of the story. As I may have mentioned before, in the 50s and 60s, and into the early 70s, Golden Books had a record label here, distributed through AA Records Incorporated. They are known for releasing certain albums and singles on 78 and 45, including a few Disney-related titles, like this here. In those pre-Disneyland Records days, Golden released some children's records, including this. Anyways, this also included little Golden Book and record sets. Here it says, "Help your child learn to read. Delightful music and sound effects make storytime more pleasurable." But these Golden read-alongs are actually kind of sparse. They usually had a single narrator read the whole thing, usually Kay Landy, with a bit of background music at times and occasional sound effects. The narrator would also cue you to turn the page instead of a separate sound effect like other companies' read-alongs normally would do. AA Records also produced similar read-alongs to the Wonder Books, which were a knockoff of Little Golden Books. And after AA Records lost the license to Golden Books, the Wonder read-alongs stayed in print until the 80s, including being released on cassette as well. After Golden Books split from AA Records, they turned to Disneyland Records to make new book and audio adaptations, like you've seen before. But let me get to the point of this. You all may know about the 1948 Little Golden Book adaptation of Disney's The Three Little Pigs cartoon. You know, this here. Yeah, that one where I look like this. And how it's still in print to this day. Well, when Disneyland Records began producing their own book and audio read-alongs in 1965, they were based off the Little Golden Book adaptations, as you may have seen, since The Three Little Pigs is such an old and popular fairy tale. Golden Records had to come up with another adaptation of the story they could sell as a read-along. So they came up with this, and there are a lot of similarities to my cartoon, along with the Little Golden Book adaptation of the Disney short. It even features the familiar Disney song "Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf" in the story. This bears an even stronger resemblance to my film than Magic Media's Three Little Pigs read-along from the 70s did, as I played for you before. So let's look and listen. Yeah, although this came out in 1966, this is an early 70s printing, I think, when Golden and Wonder Records start using yellow labels like that. Alright.
Hello there, boys and girls. My name is Kay Landy. I am going to read you a story about three little pigs. Let's open our book to the first page. See the picture of the three little pigs singing and dancing? There's a big bad wolf watching them from behind a tree. The words on this page say, "The Three Little Pigs," written by Arthur Rich, a Little Golden Record book. Now, if you will turn the page, I will begin to read the story. Once upon a time, a big bad wolf lived in the forest.
Looks kind of Chuck
Three
Jones
little
like
pigs
here.
came to the forest. The first little pig built his house of straw. It was very easy to build, and he smiled when it was finished. But it wasn't very strong. Turn the page. Then he tooted
Look,
his whistle and
he plays
marched
a
down
flute,
the
just
road
like
to
Viper
visit the
Pig.
second little pig. He sang, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf."
You see?
The second little pig built his house of sticks. He hammered them together very quickly, and he smiled when it was finished. But it wasn't very strong.
Duh.
Turn the page. Then he played his fiddle and
Yeah,
danced.
he does violin
Soon
too,
the first
like
little pig
Fiddler
joined
Pig
him.
does.
They tooted and fiddled happily. Soon they marched down the road to find the third little pig. As they marched, they sang, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf." Turn the page. The third little pig had no time to sing and dance. He built his house of strong bricks. He knew that the big bad wolf lived in the forest and was just waiting for a chance to eat a nice, juicy little pig. Turn the page. The first little pig and the second little pig giggled and giggled when they saw the third little pig working so hard. "Come and play with us," they said, "instead of working so hard." But the third little pig was too busy to play. He was building his brick house, and he was making it very strong. "Go away," he said. "I am too busy to play." Turn the page. "You'll be sorry you didn't build strong houses when the big bad wolf comes to your door," the third little pig said. But the two little pigs danced off down the road singing, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Yeah, it's just the
big
first couple
bad
bars
wolf,
there.
The
they
big
do.
bad wolf." Turn the page. The next day, the big
Here we
bad
go.
wolf came to the house of the first little pig. He knocked on the window of the little straw house and said, little pig, let me in." But the first little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," shouted the wolf. And with one big huff and one big puff, he blew the little straw house in. The first little pig ran away as fast as he could to the second little pig's house. This is the end of part 1 of our story. If you will turn the record over, I will continue. Don't forget to turn the page.
Right. Can you believe that so far? The way these illustrations are staged and placed are similar to the Disney version. I mean... Look at these. Even this. At least this doesn't go for like a derpy headshot. It's so similar, I'm surprised Disney didn't slap him with a lawsuit. Then again, the copyright disclaimer in this book says they're licensed to use the song, and it's going to keep being similar to the Disney version, especially once we're at the second pig's house. Let's check that out. So I gotta turn the page here, and flip the record over to the B side. Listen to that vinyl hiss.
This is the second part of our story. Did you remember to turn the page? Good. Now let's go on with our story. Inside the second little pig's house of sticks, the two little pigs peeked out of the window. They didn't see the wolf hiding behind a tree and licking his chops. They opened the door and looked outside. The big bad wolf was not there. Turn the page. So the two little pigs went back inside and sang, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf." Suddenly there was a loud knock at the door. The two little pigs were frightened. "Who's there?" they cried. "Who's there?" As if they didn't know.
Yeah.
Turn the page.
It's only me, a poor little lamb who has lost his way.
Oh, come on now. That's definitely stealing my
He had covered
bit.
himself with a lambskin.
That's what I do.
Ah, ah,
You call that bleeding?
please let me in.
But the two little pigs could see the wolf under the lambskin.
Of course.
"Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins," they cried.
Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in.
Boy, look at that
Shouted the
flowing shot.
And the big bad wolf huffed and puffed, and with two big huffs and two big puffs, he blew the little stick house in. Turn the page. The two frightened little pigs ran away to the third little pig's house. Soon the wolf knocked on the door. He was very hungry by this time.
Let me in.
Whoa.
He growled. "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin," the third little pig said bravely. Then the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed until he couldn't huff or puff anymore.
He's blue in the face, just like me.
The long little brick house would not blow in. So the wolf climbed up on the roof and slid down the
Boy,
chimney,
that's
licking
pretty
his
familiar.
chops. But the third little pig had put a big kettle of boiling soup in the fireplace.
Soup, huh?
And the big bad wolf slid right into it. "Yo!"
Huh.
he cried, and he jumped out of the kettle as fast as he could and ran out of the house and into the forest and was never seen again. Turn the page. And the three little pigs sang, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf."
Okay, again we have similar staging with the illustrations, despite the different character designs. Perhaps the most similar illustration is the... It would have to be the sheep disguise here. Or it's a lot like the Disney one. Oh, it's not as cute as the Disney version's adaptation here. Of course, wolves disguising as sheep is nothing new. Even in Zootopia, they had a police wolf go undercover as a sheep. But I was the one that brought it into the Three Little Pigs story. At least he didn't try to have the wolf in this version disguised as a peddler when getting to the third pig's brick house. Not that the adaptations of my cartoon feature that fit, though. Anyways, I do enjoy sharing rare and obscure stuff like that with you all out there. Finally getting more active again, so as always, stay tuned to this YouTube channel.